Hello everybody and welcome to this video on my Harvard, Princeton and Cambridge University interview experiences for their undergraduate courses. For Harvard and Princeton I applied just to the college in general, and I think I put my potential majors as sort of like biomedicine, that sort of like sciencey areas. And for Cambridge I applied to the undergraduate medicine course. Do you guys like my new microphone? I don't know what I'm doing. Today's just a filming day and I'm going a bit crazy, but let's jump straight into the video. And my Harvard interview was last year winter time, and if you don't know already, US colleges usually have alumni interviews. So graduates of that college would email you and be like, hey, let's schedule a Zoom call or a Google Meets call and we can have a chat. And it's always like pretty much quite informal compared to Oxbridge interviews, which I'll get on to later in the video. But I was emailed by a recent graduate and he arranged a Google Meets call. Now, this interview was my first university interview, I'm pretty sure, and to be honest, I enjoyed it a lot. It lasted like an hour, with the first sort of 30-40 minutes being him asking me questions about myself, and then the last 25 minutes-ish was just me asking him questions. So I, before the interview, researched Harvard a bit, and I prepared some questions which I probably wouldn't be able to find on the website, to make sure that, like, if you've got good questions prepared, that they know that you're at least somewhat interested in attending the school, right? And I asked questions such as, you know, what is the experience of like British societies at Harvard, because I feel like that's something which you can't really get from the website. And that alumni interviewer was also British, because usually your alumni interview lives near you, so that normally in a non-COVID year you can meet up, but obviously this year it was always Zoomy or, you know, video cally. And he asked some really interesting questions that really got me thinking. Some of them that I can remember from the top of my head is some things like, what do you define success as? I think I said being able to make the most of the things that you've been dealt with in life, but I feel like success can literally mean anything. Like, as long as you're happy with yourself and you're loving other people, I think you're doing amazingly well. Even just getting through a day, if you're not feeling particularly well, that is success. So success can be anything, really. And then he asked me questions like, what would your ideal roommate be? What would you be like as a roommate? And because I go to boarding school, I sort of have experiences with roommates, both good roommates and, you know, not so great roommates. So I had some insights to say about that. And technically I basically said that I could get along with most people and I don't really mind who I have, because I can adapt my routine to suit the needs of my roommate. So if my roommate sleeps earlier, I can always sleep earlier, and that's good for me, because in GCSE year at boarding school my roommate always slept really early, and that really helped me because that meant I had to sleep really early. So it meant that I actually slept in year 11. But then in year 12 and year 13 we don't have roommates anymore at boarding school, because we have our own little rooms now that we're in sixth form. And I have been sleeping so late because there's no one to be like, Rosia, have a shower, Rosia, go to sleep, which is quite bad. So I preferred having a roommate that slept early. And he asked me, the question that stumped me was, what is something that you would like us to know about you which you haven't talked about in your application? This one really stumped me and I had no idea what to say, because I feel like I just put all of myself into my application. I feel like there's obviously so many things which weren't in my application, but my mind just blanked, so I just resorted to say something about poetry and how my friend and I did this poetry project that we still haven't edited yet, oops, but about like what it's like being in lockdown in the UK. Now, I then asked him lots and lots of questions, and it was kind of awkward because I didn't really know how to end it, so I was just like, well, I don't really want to, you know, take up any more of your time, so I just wanted to say thank you and stuff, and he was really nice. Then afterwards I wrote a little thank you email to him to say thank you for your time, because after all these college interviewers are volunteers. Now moving on to my Princeton interview, this one was like in January or February or December, I really can't remember, but it was also with an alumni and it was through Zoom. It was a woman this time who went to medical school after she went to Princeton, but then she never worked as a doctor. She now works in like really cool jobs doing like technology related to medicine, which just shows that even if you do a medical degree, you can do amazing like different paths in the future, so many different options available to you. And this one was a lot more chill. Like there were no questions that stumped me or anything. It was literally just a chill conversation. Like it was like talking to a friend or talking to a teacher. And we chatted about her kids, about boarding school, about my geography project. She was so intrigued about boarding school, and then I asked her lots of questions about Princeton life as well. I think this interview only lasted like 30 to 45 minutes, but she was so lovely and she was really genuine as well. And we talked about her senior thesis and what she would have done differently. And it was genuine questions, like it sounded like she genuinely wanted to know more about my life and about me, and it was just a really nice experience like the Harvard one. But it's kind of ironic because Princeton's usually the Ivy, which people expect to be really like academically rigorous. However, the interview was just so chill. Now, moving on to my Cambridge interview, this one was on the 17th or the 16th of December, and it was 2 interviews, one at 9 a.m. in the morning, which lasted half an hour, and one at 11 a.m, which also lasted half an hour. And this was a traumatic experience, I am not going to lie, because you know when you do something embarrassing or when something just feels really awkward and your ears go really hot and you feel your face flushing? Well, that's what happens to me, and I just felt that after my second interview. I was like, damn, I really screwed that up, didn't I? And essentially it wasn't too bad, like the first one wasn't too bad, apart from the fact that I couldn't see one of the interviewers. And at first when I was asking the questions, it kind of replayed back to me and I thought she was talking to me, but it was actually my own voice. So I stopped talking and then she was just like, okay, I'm moving on. And I was like, wait, no, sorry, that was a misunderstanding. And then we carried on. But I literally couldn't see her, and I think I was meant to be able to see her because I chatted to an applicant afterwards who also had medicine interviews at my college, and they could see the woman interviewer, so that was a bit awkward. And the man interviewer, who is the director of studies, was really nice. He was chill. He was just asking me about my A-level biology, not geography, and we just talked about nerves and just, yeah, I didn't really remember stuff from the A-level course, but he still taught it to me anyway, which is great. It was like he didn't really mind that I didn't really know it that well. Like he was just patient with me, which is really nice of him. And my second interview, the first half was so enjoyable, to be honest. It was talking about like heart attacks and what I would do if like someone had a heart attack in front of me, and then we went on to discuss like the heart in general. And the second half of the second interviewer, so basically I had 4 interviewers in total, 2 for the first one, 2 for the second one, and each of them had 15 minutes to ask me questions. And the last interviewer, so the last 15-minute section of the second interview, was so tense. Like I just did not know what I was saying, and whenever I said something he'd be like no, or like just correcting me, and I'd always be answering questions with questions. So for example, someone would be like, so what is this? And I'd be like, is it? Because I was always unsure. But I guess that's good because it shows that I really don't know anything, and that's the truth. So at least I was being truthful. and it was essentially just included pictures and graphs and just combinations of lots of different areas of science but put in medicine context, which was quite interesting actually. I still remember every single thing that they showed me in that interview. I'm not actually sure how much I'm allowed to say, but I didn't say any questions. And then there was a graph question which I just completely messed up, and he kept on saying no to me, and I was just like, but I'm trying to explain my thinking processes, because that's what you're taught to do when you prepare for Oxbridge interviews. But like, he was having none of it, and I was just like sitting there with my ears turning red being like, oh shite of my life. But at least it's all over now. And then there was like a 50-day wait between the Cambridge interview and the Cambridge results, and I was completely certain that was when I wasn't going to get in because of how disastrous I thought that interview went. And at the end, one thing is that at the end of the Cambridge interviews, I always ask the question, because they ask me like, is there anything that you want to ask us? And for the first one, I asked the woman what's her favourite thing about the kidney. And then for the second one, I tried to make a really clever question to make it sound like I was really paying attention in the interview. So I said something which I wouldn't have thought of ever saying, but as I was saying the question, I thought of the question. So I'm so thankful to God for giving me that question, because it made me sound like I was actually low-key concentrating in the interview rather than just having no clue what was going on. You get me? So thank you for listening to this video and my rambles about the interviews which I just had. Hopefully it was somewhat helpful. Probably wasn't, but I wish you all the luck if you have an interview soon, and feel free to comment down below or DM me if you have any questions about any of these schools which I've applied for. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Bye.